date, guys? I think today's the 10th of March 2026. So, guys, good morning. I hope you're all doing well. Another beautiful day here in sunny Toronto. Actually, it's not that sunny, it's actually a little bit cloudy. Um, but nevertheless, it's not snowing. That's the good thing about it. And I'm grateful to be alive and in good health. I'm actually on my way to work, and I just want to take you guys along with me. So, guys, I hope that you're all doing well, and I just want to talk a little bit about how Toronto's changed over the years. Yeah. So, I mean, Toronto is such a great place to live. Multicultural. There's fun activities to do. I mean, there's a lot of good things going on for Toronto, but I find that things have changed. I mean, it's obvious that nothing stays the same anywhere you live, right? It's things change. I mean, places change. Uh, I guess the people that live in your area, different. I guess they change. You get different neighbors. But in saying that, I'm not really, talking about that type of, surface change in terms of, building architecture, or any sort of, basic changes. Yeah. So we're just gonna talk about maybe the culture, a little bit about, how people feel the social atmosphere, a little bit more into that type of, kind of the psyche of people, kind of diving a bit. So, I don't think anyone has joined me yet, so I'm just gonna let you guys enjoy a little bit of the scenery when you do come in. I think I found a really smart way to show both sides of the camera. Usually, I try to go into the settings and change, try to change the settings so you guys could see myself and see my journey. But I find just taking the camera up and just kind of physically turning it around is way easier and safer than actually going into the settings, because that's not so safe. So, guys, thank you for joining. I'm on my way to work, and I just want to take you guys with me a bit, and just talk a little bit about Toronto. So put in the comments who has joined, where you're joining from. Are you all Torontonians? Are you in Ontario? Or what province are you joining from? Or maybe you're from joining from the States. But nevertheless, wherever you're joining from, thanks for joining me. I'm joining from Toronto. I'm actually on my way to work. My work's actually about an hour and a half drive from my house. Could be 2 hours, depending on traffic. And the last time that I actually take four freeways or highways to work. First I'm actually heading right now to the I-400, and then I'm gonna hit the 401, the I-27, 427, and some other highways. So, um, yeah, that's one thing I could talk about in terms of traffic. Traffic in Toronto is crazy. Back in the day, you probably remember, if you're from Toronto, that rush hour would start from maybe 6 a.m., goes to about 9 ish, maybe 10 if you're lucky. And then when you're coming from work, rush hour is about say 4 p.m. to about say maybe 6. maybe 7. But now traffic in Toronto is crazy, like insane. It's insane. Even if you get up at 5 a.m. So okay, say you're on the street at 5 a.m. Maybe traffic's not too bad, but the rush hour starts quite early. It's no longer like 7 or 8. If you're not on the road by say 5:30 or 6, you're cooked. Trust me on that. But again, it also depends on what area of the city you live in, right? Like if you live in say northern Toronto, like Booneyland, going up to Barrie. Well, actually, that highway could be crazy too. But the further out you live, the less traffic, and I think that should be logical, right? But if you live like in the heart of the city, oh my God, it's crazy. I remember I went downtown to meet my friend for lunch, and I literally spent 2 hours, just trying to get downtown from where was that, Woodbridge? And I was like, my bosses are gonna have me for breakfast when I return. But yeah, traffic is actually insane in Toronto. So that's one thing that changes, that's changed about Toronto. But looking at more deeper picture. And thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you guys. Put in the comments where you're joining from. Are y'all from Toronto? Anyone from the US joining, guys? Welcome to my live. Let's stay alive, guys. Let's stay in good health. So I'm just here. I'm just on my way, guys. On my way on my 4, taking my 4 freeways to work. It's crazy, you know, driving an hour and a half to work. But at least I'm not driving to the downtown office because we have different locations, and we have one pretty much in the heart of downtown Yorkville, and I pay, how much is it? How much I pay for parking? It's either $30 or $60 I pay for parking whenever I, you know, work from the downtown office. I let's just say $30. So, that's quite expensive. That's the next thing to do. Parking, historically has always been very expensive in Toronto. And, going to certain events, like especially in the summer, you want to go to Harborfront and you want to park, you're going to be paying like 40, $50. I think back in the day it was like maybe $20, maybe $15 to find a little bit of private parking. But now if you don't have like $50, forget it. It's insane. Yeah, parking is really crazy. So let's say I pay $30 for parking, and I go to work 5 days per week. So 5 3 $150 per week times 4. That's what, $600 just for parking. Listen, some people pay $600 for rent. Well, not really, not anymore, anyways. So yeah, that's crazy. But the good thing is, I don't really go to that downtown office too often. Now I'm in, it's even way further. It's like Booneyland. So, oh my God, yeah, it's really crazy. Now I work an hour and a half. The parking, we have lots of parking. It's pretty much, free parking where I work. But the distance is crazy. But I guess I'd rather drive hour and a half. Let's see, $30. Now that I think about it, I mean, maybe I spend like $50 worth of gas going to work. So yeah, but the good thing is, working from home. But yeah, that's the next in Toronto. Like people, I guess, have more opportunities to work from home, and that's the good thing. COVID was, of course, the reason that changed a lot of stuff. The way we, I guess, commute. So traffic technically should be, less. Hello, hello. Who is this on the line? Happy Taco Tuesday. Hey, what's up? Happy Taco Tuesday. I'm trying to get my kids to eat tacos more. I actually, bought them. We made some tacos for them. I went to the store. I made, spent a lot of time making some tacos, and they didn't eat it. My kids are, well, one just turned 8, and then my daughter, that's my son. My daughter's gonna turn 10 next month, and they're so picky whatever they eat. They just like noodles and smile face fries and sausage. Yeah, they like junk food. I try to give them like rice and chicken and fish and pasta. It ends up in the trash. I don't know why they don't like stuff like that. I know I'm going all over the place, guys. I'm sorry, but it's just a chit chat, right? I'm just dragging you guys along to work. I need some company because I'm gonna get bored. It's an hour and a half to work. It's insane, guys. So thank you so much for liking. I'm sorry, I can't really see a name. I'm driving. I want to be safe. I mean, my car is kind of self-driving. If I, stray outside a lane, it vibrates and goes back itself. But I don't take chances. Yeah. So thanks for joining, guys. Where are you guys joining from? Anyone from U.S., Mexico, Bahrain, Egypt, Africa, Trinidad, Jamaica? Yeah, guys. So I mean, the good thing is I don't drive to work every day. I usually, a couple times per week, two maybe three times per week. We do have, clients that, do plan tours. So, some the odd times I'll go in. Even sometimes on a Saturday, my boss wants me to come in, which I don't really like doing. Um, but it's just once in a while. So yeah, the weekends, are really kind of off limits for me. The weekend's my time off. It's family time. So how about you guys? Do you guys work on the weekends? No. Yeah, the weekends time. Time when I take my kids out, we go to the mall, or in the summer go to different festivals and stuff like that. So if you're gonna ask me to work weekend, get someone else to do it. Yeah, guys. But I was saying, Toronto's really changed, like the social atmosphere. I mean, I really like Toronto. Whenever I take a trip somewhere, maybe I go to the States or whatever, I always feel like I want to come back home. Like the first, I don't know, couple of days, whatever, I just miss Toronto because, this is home, right? Toronto is actually a great place to live, but no, it's really, really expensive. That's one of the major changes in Toronto. Jobs are very hard to find, number one. And number two, it's super duper quadruper, is that a word? Expensive. I remember, like in the 90s, jobs are so hard, not hard. Jobs are way easy to find. I mean, I was in school and all that stuff, but, jobs are, I remember this is my first job, maybe my second part-time job. I worked at, it was ANP. Now I think it's called Metro. Well, it was ANP, then, Dominion, some turned into Food Basics, and then I guess a lot of them are Metro. But anyways, back in those times, there's a ANP supermarket across the street from me. So I just went in and said, hey, are you guys hiring? They go, let me talk to the boss. When, blah, blah, blah. Sure, let's start Monday. That's how easy jobs were to get in Toronto. Yeah, jobs are literally, you know, back then, I don't want to age myself. Back then, stuff advertised in the newspaper. There's the telephone listed. You call them up, blah, blah, blah. You yap, yap, yap. I don't even remember sending a resume. So, yeah, I don't remember sending a resume. Just yap, yap, yap. Okay, whatever, you have experience. Okay, fine, we'll train you. You don't have much experience. You come in and you start. And yeah, I worked that job for like 11 years. I always had cash. I mean, yeah, lived at home with my parents at that time. But I always had cash. I could buy, my gas and, my clothes. Well, jobs are so easy to find. And I remember I was working before when I was working in a store. A lady came to me and said, "Oh, how old do you have to be to, to work here?" At that time, I was like, I think I was like 19, whatever. And then like I think it was the age was like 16 to work there. And then I think her son was like 15, but he was like tall, and she says he's tall and mature. So I told her, and next thing you know, this kid is working with me in the next week or next couple of weeks. So yeah, you just go and you talk to the manager. I was hiring, but now things are so different. People are sending out. I mean, I guess it depends on which job, but these days people are sending out hundreds of resumes before they get maybe one interview if they're lucky. And even when you get multiple interviews, there's no guarantee you're going to get a job. And although that may have applied, in the past, now it's even much harder because there's more people. Immigration has changed. And trust me, I'm not blaming anything on immigrants or anything. I love everyone. We're all equal. I know there's a controversy about that, but for me personally, everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to apply to have the same opportunities. So I just want to get that out there. But for sure, things have changed. Things are more much harder. Jobs are much hard to get. Um, Rent or mortgages has skyrocketed. Housing prices has really gone through the roof. So right now, a lot of people are paying more money for rent than some people are paying for mortgages. You know, um, the average rent price in Toronto is maybe I don't know $2,500, maybe 3,000 for I don't know maybe a two-bedroom. But is really crazy. So combined it, jobs being harder to get, and you know rent and mortgages being so high. I think there's a lot of stress. The atmosphere is very stressed now in Toronto. I mean, back in those days, I was obviously younger and more in like a party mode and all that. Which is fine, but I still find that people are more grumpy. you know I mean, look, I think it's a global issue. I think that pretty much everybody's stressed out with all the stuff going on in the world, especially in the past with whatever happened in 2020. With wearing masks and this and that and that and that. So people psyche has really changed. Their mindset has changed. People are not as friendly. Um, and there's just so much political drama going on. There's just a lot. And people are trying to survive. So in general, Toronto, I mean, I can only speak for Toronto. This is where I live. It's really changed from the more friendly, fun atmosphere to more socially stressed. So people are just stressed out. If you go on social media, you go on TikTok, anywhere, people are going to express how stressed they are. They're tired of working. They're tired of this. They can't find a job. Whereas back in the day, things are more relaxed and there's more stuff to do, but more people just have more disposable income. And I think that's one of the major changes. So, how about you guys? Put in the comments. What changes have you discovered, noticed in Toronto? Like if you live in Toronto, or if you don't live in Toronto, maybe you live I don't know Barbados, or I mean those places don't really have much stress. I don't think. Okay, let's just say U.S. Let's stick with North America. Say live in the U.S. Like, what did you guys notice that has changed since I don't know growing up, or maybe in the early 2000s? What has changed for you guys? You notice that people are more stressed out. Things are way more expensive. Is it harder to get a job? I mean, personally, I think that is the case. Globally. Um, but again, some cities are different depending on the social structure and basically the demographics of the country. Like for example, I think in is it Saudi Arabia or Dubai? I think people get the gas is like 4 cents. I don't know, but people get like free stuff, like free health care and all that stuff. And in Toronto, we do get I guess free health care. I mean, our tax dollars pays for it. Um, but some people complain that it's not really free, and you have to wait 4 hours in the hospital or 8 hours or whatever it is. But hey, look, at least we're getting it, free. Not. I know that our tax dollars are being spread, but you know what I mean, right? In the U.S., I think it's like 30,000 to deliver a kid, to deliver a baby. So, there's some good stuff going on in Toronto. Canada's a great place to live. But what I'm saying is things change. Are way harder than back in the day. And let's see how far. Well, I didn't put my GPS on. I'm just seeing how much time is left to get to work. I'm about not even a quarter of the way. So there you go, guys. I'm on the freeway here, going to work. So yeah. And my work's about an hour and a half. But the good thing is I don't have to be on the Don Valley parking lot. The highway's a nightmare, especially in the mornings. Right by, I think where the 404 turns into the DVP, it kind of trying to merge adjacent to the 401. Then that little branch, you're going to be stuck there for about, I don't know, 20 minutes. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. So at least the highway is moving right now, but when I'm coming home, it's insane. So guys, thank you for joining. I'm just on my way to work here in lovely Toronto on my hour and a half drive. What's in this green truck? Probably what, gravy? KFC gravy, or I don't know. Who was on the chat, guys? So guys, if you're just joining, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. This channel's about maybe roughly two years old. I was trying to get it monetized, and to get monetized, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, and I did get way more than the 1,000 subscribers that I needed. I did a lot of overnight lives, pretty much daily, for a few months, maybe like 4 months probably, and YouTube basically rejected my monetization application, saying that I think it's a reuse content. Basically, I made some videos, some loot videos. I changed them myself. It's music and music videos, very entertaining stuff, and I do this night after night. I'll jump in and I'll try to talk to the audience. And for some reason, I didn't think that's good enough to be monetized, but it is what it is, folks. So right now, I basically I'm starting from lives. I don't make a living off YouTube. I have a full-time job, so it is what it is. I just think that YouTube is a great platform, but I think YouTube should relax their rules a little bit and be a little bit more, exercise a little bit better judgment, because a lot of people have worked very hard to get their channel up and running and to be monetized, and they have not. And sometimes you make great videos and you get like no views or very little views, and other people make crappy videos and they get lots of views. So I guess it's an old adage, right? Life is not fair, but it is what it is. So how about you guys? Do you guys have a YouTube channel? Yeah, I like videos. I also have a next YouTube channel called Circle of Fortress. So it's Circle off and the number 4, then TRESS, Circle of Fortress. So head on over there, show some love and support, guys, because getting views and subscribers are not easy. And also that channel has been demonetized also because of the same so-called what do you call it? Yeah, because of the same issue with they said reuse content. So, anyways, if you get a YouTube channel, don't let stuff like that discourage you. Just keep pressing ahead. Especially if that's one way you want to make a living. Sometimes you feel like you're being held back, but you just gotta keep pushing forward. That's the only way you can succeed in life. You go up, go to the top of the hill, and then you get pushed back down. But you just gotta, once your legs still work and you still have strength, get back on that journey, on that hill, and just keep climbing. So now I could say I'm maybe halfway to work, possibly. So I'm entering my second freeway. Okay, Lord Jesus, guide me. Gotta be so careful. Nice. So this is my second freeway. Two more freeways to go, guys, and then I'm on the home stretch. But like I said earlier, I'm so happy it's not snowing. I had like so much snow right in front of my house, and the funny thing is, whenever I back in to go to my inside my garage, my car just automatically brakes because there's like a big patch of snow, and the car has a sensor that won't allow you to hit anything, which is great, of course. But it could be so annoying, and yeah. So I'm glad the snow is melted. I don't have that problem anymore. And at my kids' school, they had like a massive snow bank, I guess, and kids would go on top of it and slide, the usual stuff that kids does. And so even if it's like minus 30, minus 20, and I pick up my kids, they want to go on the snowbank and play for like half an hour. And I, got to stand up in like minus 30 and watch these kids go to the top, play with their friends, slide down, sometimes head first. Oh boy. But I guess that's the great thing about being a kid, like nothing bothers you, if it snows, you don't complain and whine and dine, you just big snow angels, right? If it's boiling hot outside, you play on the water table or whatever. So yeah, well, maybe we should become like kids, and just try to have as much fun as possible. So this is where that's how it gets a little bit crazy. There you have it, folks. I used to go to that church. I gotta go back to church again. I didn't go to church for a while, God. I have to confess my sins, guys. I haven't been to church for a while, and I got to go back, get some spiritual strength. Like I said, Toronto's become very stressful, and we need to do everything that we can to survive, to kind of keep keep sane. Man, I'm so happy I don't have to work like every day, like I have to drive into the office. That's a good thing about I guess like I said, some stuff that's changing in Toronto or maybe globally. People are able to work from home now. With the advent of technology and AI and all this stuff. You don't really need to be in this crazy traffic, so you can just stay by your desk. Um, but for my job, eventually I will because um, let me see how to explain this without revealing what I do. by certain regulations, I have to be there, or else no work can be done. It's like a federal regulation. So um, that's as much as I can say. So yeah, I guess I'm semi important. But yeah, so I may have to go in every day. Eventually. I mean, it's a brand new building that we just moved into, and so we're still getting everything set up and all that. Welcome, guys. If you're just joining, I'm taking you guys on a bit of a journey on my way to work. Du-du-du-du-du-du. Oh, this car is boogieing. But I mean, I'm not a speeder. I don't speed, guys. I don't feel the need to speed. I think there's actually a movie called The Need to Speed or something like that. Yeah, I try to keep within, reasonable speed limits, go with the flow of traffic, so to speak. Actually, I've been driving for a while. Um, yeah, a long time, and I've only had one speeding ticket, and it was from those automated speed cameras, and that's I was like, oh my gosh, my insurance is gonna skyrocket, blah blah blah. And somebody just say, hey, relax like a fox in a box. It's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna have any bearing on your insurance. So I'm like, oh really? Okay, well, see it on then. No, I'm not gonna speed, guys. Speeding is not good. Even when you're in a hurry, it's just better to be late than sorry. Hey, did that rhyme? Not really. Yeah, it's better late than never. Okay, it's better late than never. It's better smart, well, and clever. I don't know. Well, guys, I'm gonna end this live soon. That's traffic, guys. I'm about halfway from my destination, but I think you've heard me yapping enough. But I thank you guys so much for joining. So do me a big favor, hit the like button and subscribe. Get those YouTube juices going. Get me in that YouTube algorithm, guys. Maybe YouTube will have mercy and say, "Oh, what a great video! Let me push it out in the algorithm or to our beautiful audiences." So whatever you guys do, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Blessings, guys. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Ciao. Now, how do I end this? Bye, guys.